2024 is here, and I do believe 2023 was a really good year for movies. And 2024 is going to be weird because we don't know the full effects of the actors and writers' strikes as of yet. So, these 10 movies, there may be some delays. And I'll give you an example. I was going to have Jordan Peele's Untitled movie on this list. But that was supposed to come out in December 2024. It's been removed by Universal. It looks like the writer's strike affected it until 2025. So, all of these 10 movies that I am talking about, I am in the belief that they are coming out this year, but there is actually no guarantee. So, we're going to be talking about 10 titles, but who knows actually what this year will look like. But I just have a few honorable mentions that I want to read through real quick. These are some movies that you will not find on this list. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I am extremely excited for. I've loved the Planet of the Apes trilogy. It will not be on this list. Deadpool 3, I have enjoyed the Deadpool series as well. I really like Ryan Reynolds in this role. And as excited as I am to see Hugh Jackman return, Marvel has not been hitting for me recently, so the MCU will not be on this list. And Mickey 17, which is the follow up to Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, which was the Oscar winner from 2019. Respect him a lot as a filmmaker, and Robert Pattinson is one of my favorite actors. It will not be on this list either. So let's kickstart this list with my top 10. Coming in at number 10, I hope this movie is good. And honestly, the reason it's this low is solely because of who this director is and what he has not been able to do for what feels like over a decade now. This guy's coming off a really long losing streak. However, he did have a win recently with Wednesday and reuniting him with Jenna Ortega, his star from Wednesday. I really just hope Tim Burton can deliver with Michael Keaton returning and that Beetlejuice 2 is good. This is my biggest long bet because if I'm actually thinking realistically, I don't know if Beetlejuice 2 is going to be good. I have hopes and wants that this movie is going to achieve something, and you don't know how badly I want this movie to be good. And if Tim Burton can echo that magic that I think that he's able to capture at times in Wednesday and also bring back some of that charm, you always know Michael Keaton's going to be game for it. I just hope that Beetlejuice 2 is good. Maybe this is my biggest hope, but we'll see what actually ends up happening. Coming in at number 9, this is almost sheer morbid curiosity where I'm not the biggest fan of this movie that came out in 2019. I think there's some good stuff in there. I think there's a good performance. I think there's some really nice direction and cinematography captured in Joker. But the idea that Joker 2 is going to be a musical with Harley Quinn portrayed by Lady Gaga, Joaquin Phoenix coming back, I have to kind of see what this thing is going to look like. Obviously, Todd Phillips, the director, is someone who is riffing off Scorsese, and to the idea that he's riffing off New York, New York, it at least has me intrigued. And Lady Gaga is such a talented actress that I want to see what she's going to bring to this role of Harley Quinn. Coming in at number 8, this is my only untitled movie. So maybe there is a fear that this movie gets pushed back, but it is directed by my favorite movie of 2022. The director of that was Joseph Kosinski. He's coming back for an Apple TV movie, and it is currently the untitled Joseph Kosinski Formula One movie, and it stars Brad Pitt. You got Speed, you got Cars, you got Joseph Kosinski, who's such a kinetic director in his action set pieces, like what he was able to achieve in Top Gun Maverick, and you got Brad Pitt in the star of this movie. It sounds like this is some sort of racing movie, and I'm in. I'm in. That's all I really need to at least be hopeful that this movie is good so it earns itself a spot on this top 10 list. Coming in at number 7, I believe Pixar, the best work they've done in the past decade is Inside Out. I was such a fan of this first movie. Thus, when I got that announcement that Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling would not be reprising their voice roles as the emotions, I got a little worried. I saw that trailer and I was back in because I do believe there is a lot of imagination and fun to be had with the Inside Out series, and it looks like Inside Out 2 hasn't skipped a beat. I'm excited to see the introduction of new emotions. Maya Hawke looks really good as this new emotion that's demonstrated in the trailer. There's just enough here that, like I said, I like this property. I think the idea of having it with someone who's going through puberty has a lot of exploration that they can do comedically and also heartfelt. So I have hope that Pixar is able to take what they've done so well with Inside Out and expand it, because like I said, I am such a fan of that 2015 movie. Coming in at number 6, this movie was actually supposed to come out August 2023. It was supposed to be a big, from my understanding, award play for Zendaya, and she ended up having both of her movies bumped from 2023 to 2024. Thus, I think 2024 may very well be the year of Zendaya. And I am, of course, talking about the first one of the smaller of the two, I think it's fair to say, Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, which is this tennis movie about these stars, and they're in this like tough relationship. It's all kind of intertwined, and you kind of see the power dynamics at play. You see Zendaya in a very adult role, one that it really hasn't felt like she's. This feels like the first time I've seen Zendaya as a true blown adult, where it feels like she's playing above her age in this movie. I'm just really curious to see her in a role like this. I love Luca Guadagnino as a director. I thought Bones and All from 2022 was one of the best movies of that year. Thus, pair Zendaya with Josh O'Connor, you have all these young stars, and that is what Luca Guadagnino does so well. He's such a good director of young stars, whether it's Timothée Chalamet in Call Me By Your Name, whether it is Timothée Chalamet again in Bones and All and Taylor Russell, and then whether it's Dakota Johnson in Suspiria. I just believe Luca has such a unique way of channeling the energy of 20-something-year-old people today, and that's why I'm excited for Challengers. Coming in at number 5, I guess this is just the question of, is this movie actually going to be released this year? Slash, will this movie ever actually be released? Francis Ford Coppola, who gave us such movies as The Godfather Part 2, and Apocalypse Now, has a new movie out called Megalopolis, or at least it's supposed to be coming out in 2024. Megalopolis has an all-star cast. I'm just going to read a few names off here: Adam Driver, Forrest Whitaker, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Audrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Shia LaBeouf, Dustin Hoffman, Giancarlo Esposito. These are all people coming to play for what is described as an epic science fiction drama from Francis Ford Coppola. From my understanding, Francis Ford Coppola could not get funding for this movie, and he essentially had to sell off his vineyard and his wine name to fund this movie. And this is going to be a huge financial decision for him. If this movie can do well and it is great, then this might bring back Francis Ford Coppola after a pretty long hiatus, and a pretty even longer hiatus, and not making such great movies. This is probably the last Francis Ford Coppola movie that we're getting, so I'm eagerly anticipating seeing it. And you have one of my favorite stars in Adam Driver appearing in this movie. I've said it before, I think Adam Driver constantly chooses to work with our best directors and has pretty impeccable taste in scripts, 65 aside. And that's why I am just excited to see what Megalopolis offers from one of our great directors. Coming in at number 4, I can't believe I actually have this horror film as high as I do, but when you've directed The Northman, when you've directed The Witch, when you've directed The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers, you do get respect, and that's why I have Nosferatu coming in at number 4. We have another Skarsgard brother appearing in this movie. This time it's Bill Skarsgard. We have Lily Rose Depp. If I'm correct, we have Willem Dafoe and Aaron Taylor Johnson all appearing in this Dracula slash vampire tale. I actually don't know if it's Dracula or if it's just a generic vampire. I don't know my Nosferatu lore particularly well. All I know is Nosferatu scared me as a kid, not because I ever saw that movie, but because it was on SpongeBob SquarePants for an episode, and that terrified me as a kid. Robert Eggers with this vampire source material, with getting an actor like Skarsgård to portray it, with Willem Dafoe, one of just the greatest faces in Hollywood. There's just so much to like here, and I like this gothic style that Robert Eggers is bringing to this. So just based on the track record gets it in the top 4, and that's why Nosferatu is here on this list. Coming in at number 3, I don't actually know what to expect with this movie. But Adam Sandler doing a drama movie, and it's being directed by the guys who did Chernobyl, and it co-stars Carey Mulligan and Paul Dano, and it's this epic sci-fi that takes us all across the galaxy and the universe. And it's this apparently heartfelt story. It's a lot about life and existence. And you have Adam Sandler as the star of this movie. I'm just interested in this because this is such a fascinating choice from Adam Sandler, who I've consistently praised on this channel as just saying this is one of our best dramatic actors. I wish he did more challenging projects like this. He's doing a challenging project like this. He's featured with some of our best actors, and he has an incredible director in the director of Chernobyl making this Netflix movie called Spaceman. I'm in. That's all I need. That's enough of a log line. This is I'm so curious to see this. I've been hoping that this movie would be coming out. There was rumors that it was going to come out in 2023. It got pushed to 2024. I don't know what to expect. All I know is that I hope I get to see this in a theater. Coming in the top two. So number two, and I bet people are starting to realize there's two big heavy hitters that have not been featured on this list. And yes, there are my top two, and they do feature a lot of really talented A-list stars and a lot of young actors. This one, Paul Mescal, we have Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, Joseph Quinn, Pedro Pascal, and directed by Ridley Scott. It is the follow-up to the Oscar-winning film Gladiator. This is Gladiator II, which I'm a big fan of Gladiator. I don't know what to expect from this movie, but again, it's kind of the case of how many more films does Ridley Scott have in him. This is an A-list cast. This is really going to be Paul Mescal's first chance to prove himself as a true A-list celebrity in starring in Gladiator 2. And if this can be such a sensation that the first one was, and as good of quality as the first one does, then we have an incredible movie on our hands with this cast attached, with this director, with this source material. I am excited to say the least. And then, of course, coming in at number one, I had this film, I think, ranked like in the top three last year because it was supposed to come out last year, October of 2023. It got delayed, I think, because of the writers and actor strike, and they wanted to make sure that Chalamet and Zendaya had the chance to promote this movie. Not only do you have those true stars at the front and center, you're also bringing in new cast members such as Florence Pugh, Austin Butler coming off Elvis, and you have the returning cast members of Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista. You have a new addition in the Emperor as portrayed by Christopher Walken. Skarsgard's returning. Dune Part 2, you've seen the trailer, you've seen how this movie looks. We know what to expect from Denis Villeneuve as a director of special effects at this point, and that's what I'm most excited to see about Dune Part 2. This is some of the best world building we've gotten in a blockbuster in decades. It feels like this film is so beautiful, it's so revolutionary in its style and its visual language that I just can't wait to see what Dune Part 2 concludes the story of Dune Part 1, which I think is a wonderful film, and I'm so excited to see how it all wraps up. And it just feels so epic in proportion when you watch this trailer, and that's why Dune Part 2 is coming in at number one on this list. What do you think of my top 10? Do you have any ones differently? If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe below. If you dislike what I said, make sure to like and subscribe down below. Doesn't cost you anything, you might as well. Thank you all for watching, and let me know your top 10 most anticipated movies of 2024. Take care and bye-bye.